Countless real-world tech advancements have been directly influenced by science fiction. Here's how some of today's commonplace gadgets were inspired by books and films of years gone by. When Motorola was working portable communication devices in the 1970s, it took direct inspiration from 1930s American comic strip detective Dick Tracy. Martin Cooper, then head of research and development at Motorola, said Tracy's wrist radio, which allowed him to talk with his boss while out solving crimes, was the gadget that inspired him to work on the first ever mobile phone. Over 40 years later, and the mobile phone has transformed everyday life, and the concept of talking to someone else anytime, anywhere is no longer just the stuff of spy stories. A little-known 1992 novel titled Snow Crash was the spark that helped make online avatars we see and use every day a reality. The book talks about an immersive online virtual world known as the Metaverse, filled with humans interacting with each other as digital avatars. This captured the imagination of software engineer Philip Rosedale, who went on to create Second Life in 2003, an online virtual world which, a decade later, had over 1 million regular users. Now, avatars are a staple in video games, and Ready Player One offered a glimpse of what they might be like in the future. On October 21st, 2015, Nike announced it was making Marty McFly self-lacing trainers from Back to the Future 2 a reality. The Nike Mag was an exact replica of the pair Michael J. Fox wore in the movie, complete with an electroluminescent outer sole and an internal sensor that, when you put your foot in the shoe, tighten the straps to fit. The shoe is only available in a very limited quantity, with proceeds going to Michael J. Fox's Foundation for Parkinson's Research. But since then, Nike have released the HyperAdapt 1.0, a widely available athletic shoe that ties itself when worn. They're expensive, costing almost $800, but that's still a fraction of the $20,000 price tag a pair of Nike Mags go for at auction. The origins of the submarine can be traced back to the turn of the 19th century, when marine engineer Simon Lake was inspired by Jules Verne's famous novel 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea to make the world's first submersible vehicle. Dubbed the Argonaut Jr., the experimental sub successfully passed underwater tests, which led to the forming of the Lake Submarine Company, which went on to make submarines for the US Navy. Over a century later, submarines are still in active military service around the world, and more recently can be seen taking on a gigantic prehistoric shark in Jason Statham's The Meg. It's a bold statement, but there's no denying H.G. Wells' sci-fi epic The War of the Worlds helped put Neil Armstrong on the moon. After reading the novel as a teenager, American engineer Robert H. Goddard dedicated his life to building rockets, dreaming he might one day reach the surface of Mars. In March 1926, Goddard launched the world's first liquid-fueled rocket. 43 years later, the Saturn V, using the very same liquid fuel technology pioneered by Goddard, took Neil Armstrong into space, where he went on to become the first man on the moon. Almost a century later, the idea of space travel is becoming a reality for more than just a handful of astronauts, with SpaceX promising to fly passengers around the moon in 2023. Science fiction continues to accelerate the advancement of modern technology. Whether it's Iron Man's suit or Predator's active camo, we cannot wait to see what the next few decades have in store.